Nuno! Oh boy, feels so good to be here back after 2 years. I love you so much, India. For those who don't know me, my name is Nuno, and today I'm here to speak about modern PHP language, modern PHP tooling, our favorite language. And again, for those who don't know me, my name is Nuno Maduro. I'm the creator of multiple open source packages on the PHP ecosystem. I'm also Laravel core team member and the creator of one of the most popular testing frameworks in the world, PHP. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Thank you so much. But today, unfortunately, or happily, I don't know yet, we are not here to speak about Laravel or PHP in particular. We are here to speak about modern PHP tooling, because I still feel that sometimes people see PHP as it was the language from 10 or 20 years ago, and PHP is so much different. It's so much better, and we all know it. So today I'm going to show you some of the tools that make PHP one of the most best languages to learn in 2025. Are you guys excited? Yeah. All right, that's cool, man. Let's get started. The first PHP tool I want to talk about, before that, let me show you first that we are going to talk about linting, fixing typos, type checking, modern syntax, parallel testing, type coverage, code coverage, architectural testing, and composer scripts. Looks overwhelming, but honestly, it's super easy, and I'm going to show you how. The first tool I want to talk about is Laravel Paint. Okay? And probably some of you already know Laravel Paint is this amazing coding style fixer that just comes by default in Laravel. However, a lot of people don't know that they can customize Laravel Paint. So let me just show you. I'm going to move here into this PHP project, open with the best editor in the world, PHP Storm. Yeah, I know that. Here is PHP Storm right in our editor right here with a fresh Laravel app. And the way you guys know Paint PHP, it's kind of easy, right? You just install your code just like that. You go to your terminal, bam, you run Paint, and automatically gets style. This is what we know about Paint, right? It just works, zero configuration, zero dependencies, just like magic. However, I want to show you that you can actually take so much more from Laravel Paint if you learn how to customize your paint.json. So I'm going to go here all the way down, and I have this Paint uncomment me.json. So I'm going to do that. So Paint starts using this configuration file. And what I have here is basically a way of configuring the underlying tool behind Laravel Paint, which is PHP CS Fixer. And I'm going to tell Paint to do the following. Go to every single PHP file you find and add declare strict types on the top of it. And go to every class you find and make every class final. So what I'm going to do here is clear my terminal, run Paint, and automatically, just by magic, Paint go to every single file I have and adds declare strict types and the final classes on every single class I have. This is really useful because you can have a project with thousands of lines and automatically Paint just makes the code super professional and consistent. Even better, something I really like about Laravel Paint is, especially when you have this configuration file, is I like to have private functions. You probably also like that to have them. And something cool about this is that I have strictly configured my Laravel Paint to order everything within my class in the following order right here. So for example, I want all the private methods to be under my class, below, because what it matters is really the public stuff. So if I do this, if I have this private function on top, I clear my terminal, run Paint, and Paint automatically will move everything all the way down. It really just works. And I want to show you something that I also like about Laravel Paint. I'm going to uncomment this DD expression, okay? I'm literally comparing 1 as an integer with this huge string. And possibly most of you will think that when I run this code, the result is false. However, when I run this code, the result is true. I know, what? Doesn't make any sense. So this is basically happening due to the nature of PHP, which does strict typing. So to address this issue, I typically recommend people to use triple equal or strictly comparisons. But you can actually configure Pint to basically replace every single 2 equals with 3. It's kind of easy. You just go to your pint.json file, you go all the way down, and you put this in option, call it strict comparison to true. You go back to your file, just like that. You run Pint, and hopefully Pint will automatically add the triple equals. So this is really useful. Again, imagine a legacy project. You can just set these rules in your pint.json file, and automatically you have your code really clean, really consistent. So this is Laravel Pint. It's already available on Laravel by default, so it's a huge quick win for you all. I want to move forward and talk a little bit about something a little bit more recent. I don't know if you guys know, but in the last 2 months, I actually have developed yet another tool. This one is called PHP, and it was developed actually during my live streams. And what it does is kind of simple. Just goes to your project and fixes typos automatically. Let me show you. I'm going to move here back to my PHP Storm editor. And the only thing I'm going to do here is go to the console and type vendor bin pack. Once I do this, pack goes to every single file I have and just tells me typos, things that make your code kind of unprofessional. So the first typo is detecting is under this person value object. And indeed, I have a typo here. I have name with double E, which is obviously a mistake. Now imagine having to go to every single file of your project and detect typos manually. Kind of cumbersome, right? So what you can do, run pack. Pack will just point you in the right direction. Obviously, we have a typo on the annotation, so we can fix that real quick. If I do that and I run pack now, I'm going to jump from 2 misspellings to just 1. And I'm going to fix as well on this method. Bam, bam, boom, run pack, and now we have pack happy as well. Thank you. You guys are awesome. I really love that energy. That's what made me come back to India, really. You guys are just unbelievably awesome. Thank you. This is Pack PHP. It doesn't come by default in Laravel, but you can require it through Composer, and it really just works. Moving forward, PHP Stan. And honestly, if you are doing PHP in 2025 without this, what the heck are you even doing? Okay, PHP Stan is the equivalent of TypeScript, but for PHP. And yes, we have types in TypeScript before TypeScript was even a thing in PHP, and it really just works. It's type checking, and all of you love types, correct? Someone told me on the audience that they were not using types, so I got confused. Types are awesome, and PHP Stem with types is even better. Let me show you. I'm going to move back into this project, and without opening or seeing anything, the only thing I will do is come here and type PHP Stem. And again, just like Pack, actually, I need to remove this DD. Come on, DD, the best debugger in the world, just doing this for me? It's just amazing to see the love for DD on this audience. Amazing. All right, folks, running PHP Stan, and guess what? PHP Stan automatically goes to every single file, just like Pack or Pint, and just tells me what is wrong. It's just like having this freelancer working for me and just tell me what is wrong. So I'm going to go here into this output of PHP Stan, and obviously there's a couple of things we need to fix, right? PHP Stan is pretty much complaining about everything. So let's go to this article controller, which is one of the places PHP Stan is complaining about. So PHP Stan is telling me the following. On the line 18, you have some unreachable statement. So it's the way of PHP Stan telling me that this code on the line 18, which is this return view, is never executed. This typically happens because we have an unreachable, like a die or a DD. So I can basically come here. Is the microphone okay? I hope it is, right? So typically happens because we have a DD, which is kind of dying the code. So the line 18 is unreachable. I can just do this, run PHP stand right here. And now we are going to jump from 3 to 4, so we have even more problems. Let's see what's happening here. So confusing. What the? Okay, makes sense. Actually, PHP stand is actually very smart. So it's telling me the following, that on the index method, I'm trying to return an integer, but however, I'm returning a view. Obviously a mistake. I'm going to go here, fix this issue real quick, bam, bam, boom, run PHP stand, and we are back to 3. Okay, this is cool. We're a little bit better. The next problem is that the article doesn't have a method at all. Okay, it's an uncloned class, so we forgot to literally import this article class. I'm going to import with the help of PHP Storm, run past PHP stand again, and we are back to 0 problems whatsoever. It's such a cool tool. You run it on a terminal, really just works. PHP stand, it's not included by default in Laravel. However, you can use PHP stand combined with Larastan, which is kind of a wrapper around PHP stand to understand all of the Laravel lovely magic, and you can start using this today. Again, a huge quick win, just like Pack or Pint. Now, I want to talk about something that I have discovered a couple of months ago, but honestly, it's impossible to talk about PHP stand without talking about this thing right here. Reactor PHP is just the best thing in the planet. Works like magic, and honestly, if PHP stand tells you what is wrong, Reactor PHP automatically fixes those problems for you. Looks impossible, honestly, I'm going to show you. It's just crazy. And on top of that, some of you told me today on the audience that you have some PHP 5 dot whatever application and you want to migrate to the latest versions. Reactor PHP can do that for you in less than a second. So I'm going to show you some examples. Moving here, back to this PHP Storm editor, and I'm going to show you this user controller, okay? I'm going to uncomment this, and let's just see this code all together. There's a few things here. Immediately, what the heck is this even? This syntax right here. I don't do arrays like this. I was probably not even a PHP programmer when this was a thing. On top of that, we are using switch statements, which is, in case you don't know, something a little bit outdated. PHP developers now use match statements. And there is other problems. For example, we are kind of doing this if condition that just says user equals to user, makes no sense at all. This is what I like to call that code. On top of that, we have this index public function fully untyped. So I don't have a return type right here. So let me show you something. I'm going to show you Reactor PHP. I'm going to go here, and again, just like the other tools, I'm going to type Reactor, okay? Vendor bin Reactor. I'm going to run this and just check this out. Automatically, in less than 3 seconds, okay, we just have Reactor PHP coming into this. Thank you. Reactor PHP coming into this, adding the missing return type, changing that weird syntax to proper arrays in PHP, and finally replacing a switch statement to a match statement automatically. Imagine having thousands of files in legacy PHP code, and bam, just like seconds, you have that migrated to PHP 8.4. It's the latest version, right? Yes. That being said, I want to show you also how Reactor PHP is useful removing death code, okay? So I'm going to go here into my Reactor PHP file. By the way, all these tools I have shown you, I'm just showing you the default stuff. There is so much more on these tools. Reactor PHP is a great example. Watch this. I came here to the Reactor PHP configuration file, and I've already instructed Reactor PHP to do a bunch of stuff. One of the things I have intentionally left out is removing the death code, because it's one of my favorite features. So I'm going to go here and pass this to true. So I want Reactor PHP to remove all the death code. Then I'm going to go back to my user controller and watch how Reactor PHP automatically, in a second, refactors all of this, removing the code we don't need. Clear the terminal, run Reactor, and again, automatically Reactor PHP will just remove all the code we don't need. And as you can see, bam, it just worked. We are now returning the user without that weird if condition, and on top of that, we have removed the untemporary result condition. So this is Reactor PHP. Again, a huge quick win. You just install this in your project, 0 breaking changes. So even if you run this in your project, it won't affect the desired outcome. So we have seen a lot, right? We have seen a lot, but I want to shift a little bit now into past. And before we talk about parallel testing in particular, I want to acknowledge something, and all of us in PHP community should be proud of this. Besides past being popular, it's also, without question, probably the most complete testing framework in the planet. Okay? When you compare things like past against vtest or other testing frameworks, they don't have things like past have. Snapshot testing, mutation testing, architectural testing, code coverage, type coverage, it's like just doesn't stop, you know? So we should be proud of this. But one of the things that really breaks my heart is seeing that people are still not leveraging parallel testing. And honestly, unless you enjoy a huge coffee break, there is no reason why you're not using parallel testing in 2025. It really just works, and I want to show you. Let's go here back to this project, and I've created this dummy example with a bunch of features. So this is literally 4 files, as you can see on the bottom left, 4 files, and every single feature test is basically sleeping for 2 seconds, okay? And I'm gonna pretend that I don't know that parallel testing exists, and I'm gonna run past PHP without any parallel testing whatsoever. We have 4 tests, every single one sleeping for 2 seconds, so obviously the outcome of this test will be probably around 8 seconds. And it is. You can see here is about 8 seconds, this test suite. But we don't have bad computers anymore. We have literally Apple MacBooks M4 with 17 machines or cores. So why not leverage the full power of these machines with the language we love? This is what parallel testing is about. I'm going to clear my terminal, run the same thing, but just providing the flag -- parallel. And we are going to jump from 8 seconds to simply 2 seconds. We stop running the tests sequentially to run them in parallel. And finally, leveraging a little bit the expensive computer that I bought, right? Yeah, this is parallel testing. Again, it just works. By the way, behind the scenes, Laravel, because of the way it's fully integrated with past, we are going to give a different database to every single worker in running parallel testing, but also a different cache, a different file system, really just works. Moving now to one of my favorite topics, which is code coverage. And if you don't know what code coverage is, it's basically this report that gives you given by the test suite, and it tells you what is being tested in your project, tells you exactly what is missing tests. And you will see a lot of people, gurus of testing, telling you that code coverage is a waste of time. I'm going to tell you something. I'd rather jump to a project full of tests than jumping for a project with 0 tests, okay, with 0 coverage, okay? So code coverage is important, really points in the right direction, and I'm gonna show you an example here on this project. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger, and again, just like the other options, a huge quick win, and it really just works with past. I'm gonna just provide this past -- coverage. When I do this, past will run the test suite just like normal, but at the very end, we'll show you the most beautiful report you will ever see in your life. Right there, code coverage report telling you exactly what is being tested and what's not being tested. And one example is, if I see right, is this user controller with 0 tests whatsoever. So as you can see, user controller has 0% of test suite of tests. So to address this issue, I can go to the user controller and understand what's happening. I can see, for example, that this index function is returning 1, 2, 3, or 4, 6, 5, depending on the type. I can effectively go to this user controller test and try to uncomment here some tests which effectively test the behavior of that controller, run my test suite again, this time again with a -- coverage, and automatically we're able to understand that our user controller now have some tests. We jumped from 0% to 85%, and the only thing not being tested is the line 27 as given and showed by the code coverage report. So as you can see, line 27 is this new show method. So really points in the right direction, okay? And watch this out. Also works like magic with a parallel testing flag. So if I do -- parallel and also -- coverage, I get the code coverage report, even though I'm running the test suite in parallel. So fully integrated with parallel testing, and it's a really nice and handy report. This is code coverage. I'm going to show you one more thing about code coverage that I really like, which is the -- minimum option. Something important about code coverage is not only making sure we have a big code coverage in our projects, but also making sure that if someone makes a new pull request without tests, you are going to tell them, okay? So how to do that? Basically, we can provide this option -- minimum. And if you provide, for example, in your CI that the minimum coverage is 40%, you can just provide that on the -- minimum option right there on the top. And now past PHP hopefully will fail this test suite because the new code doesn't cover those 40%. Really useful, and obviously if I were to run this with 30%, the test suite would pass. This is really useful because you can literally ensure that everyone contributing to a project doesn't at least get the code coverage below the expected. This is code coverage, equally available on past, works with parallel, and it's really cool. Now, code coverage is not the only thing we offer. Code coverage wise, we also offer you something really cool, call it type coverage. And this one is less known. It's one of the features that you won't find on any other framework or different languages, such as Java or JavaScript. So here, for example, I want to talk about this type coverage because it's probably one of my favorite things we have on past. Unlike code coverage, which tells you what is not being tested, type coverage will tell you what is not being typed. So I'm going to show you an example, and you can sleep like a baby, like this message here. Moving here to the console, and what I will do here is just run vendor bin past -- type coverage, okay? I'm going to do that, run on the console, and super fast, past PHP will tell me that I'm using types pretty much everywhere, thanks to this 100th percentage of types. So I'm going to uncomment, so you can see the example, uncomment this class car, which obviously is missing a bunch of types. Seems like PHP back in the days. I'm missing a type on this property, I'm missing a type on this constant, and yes, types can be on constants, and I'm equally missing a type on the argument and on the return type, if I'm not mistaken. Here we go. So if I run now type coverage with this new class that I just have introduced, past PHP will tell me right there that my type coverage is below expected. I'm not anymore with 100% because I have this car class obviously missing a type on the line 9. I can just go there and fix the issue, make this a little bit more modern. Constant on the line 11, I'm going to type this as well. And finally, a parameter on line 13, I'm going to add a type here, and obviously a return type on the line 13. Okay, and I do this, I run type coverage, and hopefully you are back to 100%, which we are. And again, type coverage is like any other tool we have. Thank you. Type coverage is just like any other tool we have. Really just works, zero pain, just takes 2 seconds to implement in your test suite and in your team, and it really just works. And guess what? Works like magic as well with things like minimum. So the API of past, you will see that is very consistent and cohesive. Options like minimum, you will find all over the place. So something I can do here is provide, for example, minimum 100%, and obviously now we are at 100%. But if I were to come here and untype something, or a new pull request coming into your project without types, type coverage will tell you immediately, nah. We are not merging this because you are obviously below 100%. So this is type coverage. Also, a huge win for your team, can be implemented almost with no time. I want to also talk about architectural testing. And funny enough, Vishal was just telling here when I was first coming into Laracon India, that was 2 years ago, I have introduced this architectural testing feature on past PHP. And again, something unseen on any other testing framework on other languages, just like JavaScript. So I want to show you how this architectural testing feature have evolved during the years. And if you don't know what it is, it's pretty much a way of ensuring that the architectural quality of your project stays consistent over time. So let me show you. I'm going to move here into this project, and I'm going to open this Arch test example. So when I came to India the first time, if I'm not mistaken, I was introducing the granular way of defining expectations architecturally in your project. So you could come here, for example, and write things like, I expect my controllers to be final, to not extend anything, to only have the method XYZ, blah, 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 all that stuff. This is the way we have kind of introduced architectural testing. And it was kind of a successful way of introducing this feature. However, people were requesting, I want the preset. I want like your architectural testing rules, and they need to be like one-liner. So we have introduced it recently this year, this presets feature, and the way it works, it's kind of simple. It's a group of granular architectural rules. Let's start with the most simple one, which is this preset PHP. And as you can guess, works with any PHP framework, works with anything. There are really general rules around PHP that you might want to have in your project. Let me show you an example. Hopefully this is just passing the last time I run this. Here we go, but I'm going to make this fail. I'm going to go to this Arch example, and let's uncomment this class. Uncomment this class. I'm going to go here, run vendor bin passed with --arch, and let's see how it goes. So the preset PHP is complaining about this, expecting debug underscore z value underscore dump not to be used. What is this exactly? We have no idea what this is, so we probably shouldn't be using. And this is exactly what this PHP preset is about. It's telling you about the things within PHP that you shouldn't be using. This function right here, I don't know what it does, but I do know it's an internal function of PHP, and you should not be using it. So this preset will tell you exactly what you shouldn't be using in general around the PHP language. Things like die, exit, and things like that. So let's just, oh, an update on herd. Interesting. Are you guys using herd already? So I'm going to comment this and make my test suite happy, and hopefully is happy now. Now, this is a very basic preset. I'm using it already, but I really like as well the security preset. This one is funny, gives you general guidelines about security in your project. So I'm going to run this on my test suite, and PastPHP will complain about this MD5. This MD5 should not be used. So this security preset will tell you about the things you shouldn't be doing security-wise. And in case you don't know, you better know, but in case you don't, MD5 is no longer secure. Okay? Relax. But you can do it afterwards. You can change it afterwards. But MD5 is no longer secure. So what I will do here is go to my Arch example and replace MD5 to hash my password. This is not, okay, not secure, lol. So I'm going to go here and replace this with bcrypt, which is a little bit more secure, run PastPHP, and is not complaining anymore. And again, these presets get automatically updated, so if there is any function which is a concern security-wise, PastPHP will tell you immediately, okay? So this is a security preset, and I want to show you one more preset, which is personally one of my favorites. Possibly yours as well, if you start using this. I want to show you this preset. It's called the Laravel preset, and it basically contains a way of ensuring that you code all applications just like I do. We'll ensure that all your models are placed within application models. We'll ensure that you have form requests and much more. Let me show you an example. I'm going to go here, uncomment this Laravel preset, run it on my terminal, bam, bam, boom. And the first thing it's complaining about, it's kind of interesting. It's really an architectural rule. I don't know about you, but I like to keep my controllers super simple. I want my controllers to only have the RESTful methods, to only have index, show, create, store, update, edit, delete, and destroy. I like to keep my controllers insanely simple, just like Adam Whelan a few years ago, CRUD by design. This preset actually enforces that. So if I go to my article controller right here, you will see that I'm using this publish method. If I need the publish method, I do an article publish controller with an invocable method, okay? This preset ensures that, so what I will do here, just to make the test happy, is guess what? Removing the method, and hopefully my test suite is happy. And it is, but it's now complaining about a different thing. This time, my test suite is complaining about something funny, which is expecting everything within application models to extend, illuminate eloquent models. So I effectively created a file with the name product, but I forgot the most basic thing, which is implement the model or extend the model of Laravel. Let's keep going. Run again, past architectural testing, and as you can see, we'll really just guide you. If you start installing this today in your project, we'll just guide you about what is wrong. And you can see that now it's complaining about something funny again. This wrong product exception is not implementing the throwable interface of PHP. I don't know about you, I have seen this thousands of times, and it happens when I'm forgetting to extend the base exception of PHP. And hopefully architectural testing is now happy, which it is. So all these presets, they are one line of code, okay? One line of code. Thank you. So if you're telling me that you don't have time to put one line of code in your test suite, come on. Literally a line of code, okay? I want to also show you something really cool about this. I hope we have time. On this architectural testing, you also obviously can write your own rules, okay? This is general rules around Laravel, PHP, security, and more. And there is also the presets. But if you really want, you can write your own rules. So the things you can do is, for example, things like this. I expect everything on my controllers to be read-only, to be final. Like literally, you can specify all the custom rules to ensure consistent in your project. One example is, for example, I don't like my controllers to extend anything, and hopefully my test suite will be happy now, and it is. But if I go here to this user controller and I do this, the dummy thing on the planet, which is extend this controller class, for example, if I do this, hopefully my test suite will start complaining, and you can ensure consistency by saying, nah, nothing should extend anything here, and now your test suite is again happy. So you can literally specify architectural granular rules, such as, for example, ensuring that your models are only using repository classes, for example. Anything really just works. So this is architectural testing, equally available on past PHP, and it just works. I want to finalize this talk by giving you a really good tip. We talked about a bunch of tools. Pint, Pack, PHP Stand, Rector, so many tools, and honestly, it might get a little bit overwhelming. You might know them all, but if someone is joining your project, just leading with all of this, you might get a little bit confused. So I'm going to give you a tip where they don't have to know these tools. Let me show you. Something that I always do is on my composer.json file, I create this list of scripts, okay? It's super simple. You are simply saying to Composer, every time someone types composer lint, just execute whatever is here. So if I type composer lint, we'll automatically run Pint behind the scenes. Even better, I can say every time someone types composer refactor, just run Rector PHP. And the person running this script doesn't have to know any flags, any configuration, just have to execute the script. So here, for example, I can clear my terminal, run composer refactor, and this will run Rector PHP for me. Now, the best one in the planet is this one. Get ready. You can literally say, now create and prefix this test prefix with type coverage, type test linting, test unit, test types, test refactor, test everything, and finally put them all under this test script. And guess what? The newcomer to your team, that new person joining your project, the only thing they have to do is type composer test. In this, will run everything, linting, refactor, type coverage, PHP stand, refactor, and much more, and it really just works. My name is Nuno Maduro. In case you don't know, I'm on YouTube right now, publishing videos every single day at 1 p.m., but also doing live streamings every single day at 9 p.m. If you love my work, if you love this talk, join me on my YouTube channel. I love to be here in India, and I want to catch you all right now on the after party. Thank you so much, and catch you all next time. Where should I go?
Highway. Yeah, buddy. Amazing.
I love you so much, dude.
Yeah. Don't go. We have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Cannot go like this. So, how has been back in India?
I feel so good, man. There is something about this community that I don't find anywhere, really. The energy, the vibes. You guys are just awesome, and I love to be here. I want to be here again already, so.
Yeah. So, big round of applause to all of you. Yeah. It's all because of you, and because of you. Meanwhile, in the break, some of the people came and they had some questions already pre-planned for you.
Okay.
And already there are a couple of questions online.
Okay.
But the question of which a lot of people wanted to ask, and even I also want to ask the same question. Recently, we have seen that you are live streaming, you are doing short videos, you are coming live doing programming, doing crazy stuff, and that has inspired so many people to do something like that. But unfortunately, they are not able to maintain the frequency of it, or maybe discipline of it. So maybe you can share some of the tips, like what was the idea which came in mind, and how you make sure that you have that constant thing, because everyone wants to do those things time to time.
So I do get that question a few times, as you can imagine, but I don't have a secret sauce. I don't have kids. That probably help. You know that, right? So I don't have kids, but I don't waste time on Netflix or on those things. I basically work 40 hours for Laravel a week. After my work at Laravel, I always make sure that I have a good time with my wife. Have dinner with her, spend time with her. But after that, instead of probably going some video games or hammering myself with alcohol, I probably just go and do live streaming. Make sure I actually enjoy my time doing the live stream as well.
Yep.
And yeah, that's it. I don't have secret sauce, Vishal. I hope I had some secret sauce, but I don't.
But what I hear from it is more like, if I have to describe in a single word, then it's a discipline, I can say.
Yeah, it's discipline. With anything in life, either that be your career, either that be just live streaming, if you put consistency into it, you will be successful. That can be on the gym, that can be finding a partner, can be on anything. If you are consistent in discipline, you will be just the best in that area, and that's it.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's the quality. And a question from audience. I have a question from Aniket Magadam. Where is Aniket? Yeah, please. Oh, the one in the last bench. What a number to be picked. So his question is, how does PHP work internally?
Yeah.
And also, can we extend it to use AI as well in future? Mm-hmm. And also in the same context, a lot of people also asked that, is it just for the Laravel, or it also applies on the other PHP as well? So these are like...
Yeah. I'm going to start with the last one. It works with any PHP project, so it doesn't have to be Laravel. Behind the scenes is already written in the way that abstracts the way it fetches errors or problems. So in theory, you can literally inject a driver, an AI driver, to use instead. I think it would become expensive, because sending all those tokens to the AI might become a little bit expensive. And the first question was?
It was like, how does PHP work internally? Like, they want to know.
So depending on your operating system, I'm going to actually fetch a driver that comes available by default in your operating system. I literally forgot the name of the tool, but it's some tool that just comes by default on Windows and Mac OS, and then I just use that tool, checks the most general mistakes. It supports English only at the moment, so we plan to as well support other languages, but it really just works. You can provide your configuration file to exclude some of the words you may have in your project which are specific. And yeah, so far that's it about the project.
Perfect. So guys, Nuno for you. Have a good time for rest of the conference, and have a good time in India.